Welcome to the Occult Rejects. This episode, you got a bunch of us with you today, and I'm going to go around the room and let everybody introduce themselves until we get to the amazing guests we got for you today. Today, joining me, we got Ethan Indigo. What is going on, sir? How are you? Glad to have you back.
Peace on earth. Thanks for having me. Honored to be here with everyone. I'm a writer and philosopher on the exoteric and the esoteric. New article coming out on occultresearchinstitute.org soon. And honored to be involved with you guys. Peace.
Awesome. No, and thank you for constantly adding stuff. I appreciate it. And we got the man himself, Headless Giant. What is going on, sir? How are you?
How you doing? I'm the Headless Giant. You can find me on YouTube and on X. Just look up my name. And if you have any sort of paranormal or occult experiences, dreams that left a funny taste in your mouth, you should send them to me at the Headless Giant Podcast at gmail.com, and we will read those on Thursday nights. And you can watch us, read your emails. And we also bring a sigil every Thursday, so check that out.
Yes. Besides a story, you also get a sigil or a symbol or something. You'll also learn something as well. So definitely check it out. And we also got Tim Constantine with us today. What is going on, sir? Thank you very much.
Hey, hello everyone. Excited for this. Yeah, my show is Sixth Sensory Podcast. Thanks, Nick. Hello to the other rejects, and hey, Mark. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And we got Ricardo. What is going on, sir? Please let everybody know where they can find your institute and everything.
Thank you very much. So cool. My name is Ricardo Calvario. You can find me at the tag that is on the screen at Ricardo Calvary with X. Please check out our Institute for Natural Philosophy at institutefornaturalphilosophy.org. You have a free magazine that you can watch or download. Places where you can go and get involved with any project that you have or you want to participate with us, just let us know. And please check out my books, The Resonant Earth and Stardust. You can find both on Amazon on my page on X. Thank you very much for having me, Nick, and good evening to all of you. And Mark, it's a pleasure.
No, thank you for joining me. And I figured this would be up your alley, so I wanted to get you on with us,
Thank you.
Of course. And last but not least, well, until Lisa makes it here, we got Tyrone. What is going on, sir? Glad to have you back again.
Thank you for having me here. Welcome, gentlemen. I appreciate y'all letting me come here. You always letting me come over here and be a part of the team and learn some new stuff from you. Ricardo, what's going on, man? Nice discussion to the last few times that we had them. You can find me on most social media. I'm also a bestseller, Journey Through the Origins of History, which can be found on Amazon. And I also have a website called rebirthoftheword.com. And I'm glad to be here to learn something from you, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, Tyrone. And I know I said it before, but hopefully within the next week or two, I would like to get you on for your book. So looking forward to that. And last but not least, to the guest of the next hour and a half, 2 hours, or whatever it's going to be, we got Mark from Megalithic China. Please, Mark, let everybody know where they can find all your work.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Nick. My name is Mark Leithead, and you can find my footage at youtube.com/@megalithic-china. And I want to say that really, I'm just a guy with a camera. I'm a tourist pretty much, and I'm really glad to be talking and showing like lots of video footage today. And I want to say I brought my book today, so I'm going to be showing you like all the footage, pretty much every video from my trip to China last year, and I'm going back to China again this year. I'm just a guy with a camera, a gimbal, and a drone. And I got 4K drone, 60 frames per second. So I'm hoping to film more stuff next time I'm in China. And thanks for being here. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this. There's some interesting discoveries, not discoveries, but things I saw that I think would be of interest to you. So thanks for having me.
Oh no, thank you. Appreciate it. So I guess like what made you decide China of all places, or did you happen to go there and it was just like, oh, this is interesting, started filming stuff and was like, I'm going to do something with this? How did that work out?
Yes, for sure. Well, I guess I'm going to get right into being honest. It's been hard for me to find a job the last 4 years in North America. I'm a Canadian. I actually have very advanced degrees. I have a PhD in biology and a BSc in also in biology, and I couldn't get a job for about 4 years now. I've been applying. I've been on what's it called, like social assistance, and I'm like, this is absurd. I realized, as I guess as a man, I mean, I apply to these jobs and I see discrimination in the law in North America, especially Canada and America and in the West, right? And I realized, I'm not where I'm valued in North America. I need to, because I understand I do have value, and so I started applying overseas, applying like China, South Korea, even the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia, right? And through teachaway.com, through Dave's ESL Cafe, these are some place where you can find these jobs. And yeah, they offered me a job last year to go teach English in China to children, and I had like 250 to 300 students, and I was teaching a lot, like 45-minute classes. And I was in China, and I was a big fan and viewer of Wandering Wolf, Michael Collins, and all his work he's done there. And I'm like, well, I'm in China, and I brought my drone and I have a gimbal, and so let's just film it and get like detailed footage. And I just ended up filming a bunch of sites, and then I went back again in March this year, 2025, and I went to Xi'an and filmed some of the burial pyramids with the drone, beside the Qi Shi Huang's terracotta soldier. I didn't go see the terracotta soldiers, but I went to one of the unexcavated pyramid sites of I think the Tang Dynasty. I'm sorry if I get that wrong. That's off the top of my head, but yeah. So that's a bit about me.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm going back to China. Sorry, just going back to China to teach high school biology for 2 years. I'm actually going Tuesday. Yeah, I'm flying out this Tuesday. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm going to bring my new 4K cameras and hopefully get more footage. And if you guys have any ideas of what else to film, let me know, right? Like I want to be like helpful to you guys, that just to document these places. And yeah, I guess a little further, right? Like I went to Longview Caves, and Collins people, they were making carvings in the walls, and they were unsure whether they carved the entire walls and it was completely destroyed. But I went back and I showed, no, it's actually pretty much exactly as how Michael Collins saw it. So they haven't really touched much of the caves very much. So that's exciting, and that's what we got to do. And I feel like anyone can do this, right? Anyone can go out and film wherever they are, and it's definitely valuable.
If you are wanting to grow a YouTube, you might want to consider going to film those pyramids out there in China. I mean, those are something else. I don't know if they let anybody just go and check those out and film or what, but I would imagine that if you threw up a video of the Chinese pyramids, you're going to be on your way.
Cool. Yeah, I did film a couple. I brought footage of 2 types of burial pyramid mounds near Xi'an in the old capital. So I brought that footage today, and hopefully Nick will be able to share that with us. But there's so many different types. So when you said pyramid, I wasn't sure what type you meant, because I mean, there's some that I think Jimmy Corsetti shared a photo of one that had like stones, actual stones. The one that I saw, you can see in the bottom photo, those are the 2. I don't know if you can see. We have the full 1080p 16:9 footage, right? But those are the pyramids that I went to see in March 2025.
Sure. So, yeah. I mean, I really meant like any pyramid in general over there in China. Like, I think Americans have a fascination with that. The more the word has gotten out about that, but also I should have said this, the alleged pyramids out there as well, because there's a region out there with a lot of mountains / might be pyramids.
Yes, that too. Yes, I think the nearest city is called Liu Pan Shui. I mean, I can write it in the chat. I don't know if that is. Yeah, I think it's a karst landscape, and there's a lot of erosion. I'm not a geologist. I just learned a little bit about geology, and that's in the southwest of the country. And it's I mean it appears to be natural, but it would be great to at least go and document it and see, right? Because there's definitely a lot of interest in that. It's maybe 2,000 to 3,000 kilometers away from Xi'an, like maybe 1,800 miles from Xi'an, which is kind of a bit far. But I'm going to be right in the center of the country, so I'm going to be. Man, they have trains that go 190 miles per hour, which is like insane, all over the country. I went to Yangshan Quarry. Yeah, oh, you got the map. Oh, nice. Yeah, exactly. So this map is not the world's greatest map of China, and there's a couple of reasons. One is it's free. I guess it's from Wikipedia, free use. I didn't want fear copyright. And two, I wanted to show that, I guess, the geology of China, where I guess millions of years ago, if you see, this is like an elevation map, and I think yellow represents like lower elevation. And so that whole northeast part of China was probably likely underwater. And well, I mean, it was underwater, right? Because it's all like limestone, right? Sedimentary rock deposit. And that's important for, I guess, what we're going to be talking about and showing in the next slides, talking about what Yangshan Quarry is actually made of, right? It's a sedimentary type of stone, and it's not like a volcanic igneous formation. So,
what was up with this? I noticed there was like computer snapshots.
Yeah, well, it was so. I guess this is part. So if you look at that piece of stone,
I guess the flint, there's a lot of flint over there. I assumed that's why you had this.
Yeah, exactly. You'll see a piece actually from Yangshan Quarry looks like exactly like this piece in this video game Tears of the Kingdom. And why I was showing this is because, well, one is you'll see it's related to Yangshan Quarry because Yangshan Quarry is actually made of flint, and I'll show video and footage of that. It's pretty insane. It was a really incredible discovery. And I guess why I'm saying this is because like 30 million people purchased Breath of the Wild, and I think 20 million people purchased Tears of the Kingdom. So I mean, they're not like mutually exclusive, those two groups, but definitely at least like 30 million children know what flint is and know what it's used for, which is pretty amazing. I mean, it seems like there's like a big convergence of even adults and children getting interested in like megalithic information and just I think like the next generation is going to be really like you ask any child. Oh yeah, that's an AI image of the recreation of what I was theorizing that Yangshan Quarry could be, because actually Yangshan Quarry, there is the stone is actually flint and it's actually mirror black. And I have a piece here. I mean, we have high quality video footage that I was going to show you, but like Yangshan Quarry, I did a 1 hour video of really close up high quality of this rock. So I have like a sparker here, and you can see like it creates sparks. So it's
that's like how our cigarette lighters work, right? Aren't we scraping against that shit?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's really interesting because flint, there's a lot of flint, what's it called, steles all over China, right? So we know that they use these flint massive steles, right? Where for example, in Shaolin Temple, there's lots of just these big pillars of flint, and they engrave Chinese writing into it. So we know they use it for that. We know they used it likely for maybe arms, right? Like firearms potentially, right? Maybe bows and arrows. And I was, I guess, the footage that I have shows that it's actually like a mirror reflection. And I was hypothesizing, right, with that mirror photo. What if you polished all of Yangshan Quarry it would be like mirror black reflective. And I was thinking like maybe, I don't know, like I know there's nubs on the thing. I haven't done any calculations of the nubs, but I don't know if it's meant to like reflect the night sky above, or I mean I don't know. It's just a theory, just an observation. I'm not saying I support that theory, but
crystal ball. Be a crystal ball, man.
You could. I mean, you know, like infinite. You know, the like obsidian infinity mirrors, or like obsidian mirrors, right? They might have done something with flint, but this is just a piece of obsidian to show that it's not obsidian, because I was thinking it was obsidian, but it's actually flint, and it makes sense because it's a limestone area with sedimentary deposits, whereas obsidian is volcanic igneous formation, right? So this is not from Yangshan Quarry. This is from Mexico, somewhere in Mexico. This is from a store. I took a picture of this, so just to show that it's different. The Yangshan Quarry stone.
So, but what you're saying is once it's polished, it's almost indistinguishable between obsidian and the flint. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, yes, yeah, I would say so.
Because one is vitreous and the other is mineral. That I don't know how to say it. It's not vitreous. But I as you showed it, yeah, I never thought about that of flint, that you could polish it to get that effect. It's interesting.
Yeah, it is really interesting, and it makes you wonder. I wonder what else they have in China, like buried in these unexcavated tombs. I'm not saying we should excavate them, but I mean, I wonder if there's any like flint mirrors or I don't know, flint. I don't know what else could there could be. I don't know, flint statues, right? I mean, so this photo, I guess, also went to this is artificial intelligence. This is AI, right? So. Yeah, I went to also, what's it called? The Longmen Grottos. And Longmen Grottos they have like these, I also have video footage of Longmen Grottos. They carved the Buddhas into the side of, I guess, a flint outcrop in the middle of China in about 1,500 years ago. And it's also flint, and you can also polish it, and you can polish it black like this, right? I guess the first image I showed, it was all gray, but I mean it could be polished completely black also. So,
but did you find ever any type of art using flint that it was polished there, or nothing?
That's a good question. Well, there is at the Shaolin Temple, they had these steles with like a turtle base, and people would rub the head of the turtle base, and you could see that it was polished and it's completely reflective. And I also have a video of that. I sent I sent like a bazillion links to Nick. He's we're bouncing between the orders, but yeah. So I don't know if it was intended to be black to start. Perhaps it was, especially Longmen Grottos. It seems like it could have been, because it's very well carved and cut out, right? Yangshan Quarry, I'm not sure. The tool marks are very rough and crude on Yangshan Quarry, so I don't see any I don't see how they probably polished it. They probably just chiseled away for Yangshan Quarry.
I know it's digressing a little bit, but it's the elephant in the room when we talk about Yangshan Quarry. What do you think happened to the material removed? Because it's nowhere.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, yeah, that's why I'm wondering. Well, there are a lot of these like big rectangular steles throughout China, right? That they engrave whatever history they want in there, and there's a lot of those. I mean, Yangshan Quarry, they're massive blocks, but they aren't removed from the
bedrock,
quarry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, they're not technically megaliths because they haven't really been cut and moved,
Sure.
right? Like in Baalbek, but. So I mean, I don't know where the material went. To be honest, I mean, I think it was just used throughout. I mean, unless they're buried in the like the unexcavated pyramid tombs, the mounds, right? Like in like the terracotta soldiers. I think there's pieces of flint that were found there, and. Maybe they were buried in the unexcavated tombs as well. We never know. I don't know.
If
But,
these people were seafaring, that stuff could be anywhere.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time. If we think in this short amount of time, it's hard to get rid of all of the material that's extracted. But if we think in a vast span of years, then it's perfectly possible that they take, even if a small bit at a time, so they could just carve it off. Why they leave those indentations in the stones that are there, like that middle one, and why they took the trouble to carve and leave the nubs out, because that's how you leave a nub. You have to carve the rest of the face of the stone to leave just a nub, right? So that's why it proves they are intentional. Why they did it is for anyone's guess, right? But they could slowly take the material out, and as Tim said, it could go anywhere in the world. So
yeah, I've talked to people, really, really good, thorough researchers who believe that people from China came over here to North America well before Columbus.
yeah,
and other places too, not just North America, but they had ships probably much longer ago than history's given them credit for.
Oh no, they had. So I've talked to this several times. In the year 1000 BC, they had ships that make look the Portuguese caravels as a whole nuts shell. Just huge. They were the size of tourist ships today. Huge, enormous. And they go with a fleet over 500, 600 boats, with smaller ones and medium ones and these gigantic ones. And they do this, go through the Indic, go around. And that's the reason why the Portuguese were successful when they found the Indies. Because when they go around and they reach the eastern area of Africa, the eastern coast, there was still this myth of this, because it was repeated, this was lost, this seafaring Chinese thing was lost for a long time, and then it was revitalized about 500, 400 years before the 1500s. So there was still, in the grandfathers, there was still this memory of these ships carrying gifts and offering people, because what the Chinese gave was actually gold, silver, jewels. They actually reached there with these things and they give this to these people. This is record in their annals of history. And so when the Portuguese arrived, there was still this echoes of these myths, and they welcomed them, thinking it was the Chinese coming back with the gold and the silver, and they got chickens and stuff like that, and some clothes. But that's why the Portuguese were welcomed, because the Chinese had this long history of seafaring, and who knows where they could reach with such a big boats. They could go to America, they could go everywhere. There's no stopping a ship like that. And sorry, I took too long.
I just wanted to point out too, the Silk Road was a very institutionalized trade process, not just random route for random people. It was, very thoroughly built up in terms of water along the way and different stops and so forth. So even just the Silk Road would have potentially brought out, all kinds of material.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, empires were built on that Silk Road.
Yeah.
And I mean, if these mines or quarries in China are anything like our copper mines out here in Isle Royale in the Great Lakes, I mean, those were Phoenicians coming over here and taking that copper and fueling the Bronze Age across an entire ocean.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of really cool possibilities here with what these quarries could have actually been purposed for.
There's actually stories about explorers from China coming over to the Mediterranean and trying to figure out where Rome is. And they almost made it. And they talked to a couple of traders, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Rome's over there." And they're like, "All right, well, we're just going to stop and go back to China now." So you had people like Julius Caesar wearing these robes made out of silk that came from China, but they never really had that connection, at least in terms of what was written down. I'm sure there was a lot of people that just migrated back and forth on the Silk Road. But yeah, all of these things were traded at different trading hubs along the way. So you would only go, half a stretch, and then you plunk it down, sell it there, and then it would be retraded and sold for other places when it was going along the Silk Road. So there was a lot of cultural diffusion, even though it was maybe less connected than just the interpersonal level.
Yeah. And that the end of that Silk Road, because of the political changes on the area, was what led to the creation of the Crusades and the exploration of the new ways through sea on the 1500s, because they needed a new route to India to get the stuff, because they couldn't take the Silk Road anymore, because the warfares between the people that back then, they lost the control of the road, so they couldn't do it anymore. So that's why they had to seek a new way, and that's when ships were again developed and starting thinking how to do it, and old maps reborn, and because of their so much secret, today we lost. The ancient maps were lost because they either copied them to the new maps and destroyed the old ones, or stored them so high, so good that we never found them again. Like the Piri Reis map was made of several maps, not just one or two maps. It was several maps used to create the Piri Reis map, for instance. But that are others like that one.
From what I understand of Chinese history, just to point out, there were times when they were more seafaring and even had a large navy to attack Japan. And there were a few instances where they lost all their entire
fleet.
Navy, right? And particularly in attacking Japan, at least twice in just exploration and kind of diplomatic pursuits. And they kind of, from what I understand, at least culturally closed off to that idea of embarking in seafaring ways.
Sure. And then were the Japanese that tried to invade China afterwards. Small country against China, but funny. It's like Portugal.
Mark, would you like me to pull up that first video that you had on your PDF
Sure.
list for me?
Yeah, please. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Yeah, here we go.
Mark, from your perspective, do you think that is the most efficient way of carving the stone? Or there was some other reason for some of the structures we find there still on the bedrock?
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it was hand chiseled. That's what it looks like when you're up close, because you could see, especially on the inside, right, with the inside shots where the corners meet, you can see it's not precise. It's kind of, you can just see like the chisel lines go all the way down, so you can see someone like hammering and chiseling all the way through. And I mean, like the chisel marks are maybe an inch wide, right, all the way down, and it's pretty sporadic. So I think, I mean, I can see how someone or a group of people could have hand chiseled the entire site. Another thing is maybe it was quarried at different times by different people through time, right? Because you mentioned before the nubs, Ricardo, right? Yeah, like the nubs, they definitely are intentional. It definitely seems like, right, to put the effort in creating those nubs, but they're not precise nubs, right? They're actually pretty crude.
Sure.
which is
All of it is right.
Yeah.
All of it. You didn't find anything that is quite particularly exquisite in finishing or anything like that.
No, exactly. Except there was one piece, like the back. So it was crude, but the back of that long piece where they it's actually very flat. It's not like precise, but over maybe like 10, 20 feet, it's straight, right? It's actually like straight back. Not this piece, but the
one with the false windows and the nubs, right?
yes, yeah, the one behind it, the long, skinny one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is you can see the person up top there. The I don't know if you can see the person in white up there.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
some drone introducing the.
It's like a mosquito
And
on an elephant.
yeah. And on the
No,
left there, sorry, go ahead.
I was you can keep going. I don't want to derail you, but I was going to ask you at some point what are the local legends concerning this, concerning the people who did it, and were they people? Were they giants? We see a lot of that here in our legends in North America. So
yes, I'm looking at my phone now because I took photos of the signs at Yangshan Quarry. I have it on my phone, so I don't want to get it wrong. I mean, I just want to make sure. So they say that it was. I mean, I think you might know the story as I did, but they say they wanted to build like a base, a stele, and a head. Right in China, there's like the base, and then like the stele is the long, skinny part, and the head. And they say that they want to use that long. I guess the long flat piece as the stele to put it vertical, which I think is it would be a very difficult task to do. I mean, I have some of the measurements of the stele here. So yeah, I mean, they're saying it was built by Emperor Zhu Di in the year 13, or he lived from 1360 to 1424 of the Ming Dynasty. So they're saying it's only like maybe 600-700 years old. Yeah, but I mean,
I wonder if the local people have a different thought on what this was built for. You know, wonder what the narrative is off the plaques.
Yes, I don't. Yeah, I will be honest. I don't. Again, I started this saying I'm just a guy with a camera. I mean, I'd love to. I'm curious. I want to know more. I'm not denying my curiosity, but it's just like I don't know the especially like I didn't communicate with any locals when I went, unfortunately, and I took pictures of the sign. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know.
Fair enough. That's fair enough.
So
man.
simplifying that question would be, do they think, because from my perspective, and I know very little of this, they think this as a pure industrial site. They don't attribute it to any, we don't find any ceremonial caves or anything like that. It's just a workplace where they came and took stone off. And it's almost like someone decided to take some liberties with the blocks that were left there, and they carved these false windows and took the nubs at the same time. And probably it was just a block like the one that we're seeing with the person on to the right. It's just a block that was left and quarried. So I don't know if there is any it would be interesting if there is any legends. Do you know anything about that?
I do not. I also when you first said about any, you know how like some places they dig a little, I forget the word, like a place to honor someone, like they dig into the whole wall.
Yeah, a niche, create a niche.
Lingam, yeah, a niche. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's none here. There's not a single one here, which is strange because at Longming Grottos there's niches everywhere, all around the Buddha carvings, right? But here there's not a single one. So it doesn't seem like there's any spiritual or ceremonial purposes to this other than the actual items. And as Ricardo said at the start, like that's a massive amount of material that's been removed. If you look to the left, right, bottom left, you especially there's you can see the cut marks in the ground, right, showing that they did quarry all that flint stone left of that megalith at the bottom there. So they did move a massive amount of stone, whether it was all when it was large or not. I don't know. I don't know if they broke it up into smaller pieces, but yeah, and that's just the region around.
I must say that the fact that the camera lift up and we can start seeing civilization around takes a little bit of the mystic of the place, because for those that never seen it, it looks like it's a pristine in the middle of the forest or a desert area that it's hard to access, and then it's like the pyramids. You find, it's amazing, and you raise your eyes, and there's this vast city that doesn't look as good. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, exactly. You'll see it's right beside Nanjing, which has like 10 million people. And I mean, I took a train at 300 kilometers per hour, like 190 miles per hour. I took a taxi here. I mean, it was really amazing, really easy to get to. Thank goodness for Michael Collins's video of how to get there and giving me the courage to do it. So
yeah, he's amazing. He's amazing. Kudos to him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna switch over to, I think, another video you gave me too.
Yeah, we can see. Yeah, we switched the video. Yeah, these it's just we got a bunch. So yeah, this is the walk up. So this is like the first. I guess I took a 2-hour video, right, walking 1080p with my Samsung S20 FE and with a gimbal. And so the first like 3 minutes into it, you immediately see. I guess we'll talk about the parts first. So you see, like the nubs are pretty coarse. It's quite large. If you want to fast forward to maybe 2 or 3 minutes in, it starts showing the flint. Yeah. So yeah, that's like some of the tool marks. So you can see it's like pretty crude. So you can see it really doesn't look like it was. I mean, it looks like it could have been done with a hand and chisel, right? Just like chiseling away at it. And so what's coming up here? So what you can see is that you can actually polish it, right? And so I'm looking at tool marks, but I haven't noticed the flint yet.
Yeah, probably so people put their feet there to go in there or something, and it gets polished because of that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking. So, I mean, I know flint. Google tells me flint has a hardness scale of 7 on the Mohs scale, but I mean, I don't think with steel you can just like walk on steel and it's like polished and softened. So I think this flint might be a little softer than 7, right? So this part really blew my mind, because it's like I realized, wow, this isn't gray. I thought it was blue. I thought it was a blue stone. That's why it was a photo of a sodalite, which is a blue igneous rock. But after doing my geology research, I realized this is a sedimentary region. And I discovered, I guess, shout out Throku in the YouTube comments. He was one of the first to mention flint, because yeah. And so I thought it was blue, but then when I brought it home and I filmed it in like a white box, I realized it's actually black, and it's reflecting the sky. It's reflecting like the sky, because it was a really blue sky that day.
You see, it's this way that they decided to quarry the rock. It's far from being the most effective, because you go from the top to down, right? You don't because this way you have to quarry much more, because you have to separate the top, the sides. So you have all the work instead of coming from top to bottom and taking what you need, which to me is a little bit of either they wanted this specific area because it was richer in this mineral, or we had to test the stone to see if there is more flint in here than in other places, or if this flint has a different quality. But it's obvious that they decided to take this box on this side on the other and didn't take the rest, right? And
Yes.
that's what I find curious in a place that has no ceremonial indicances or any kind of
Ricardo, it could go back to the idea that there's something in this sedimentary rock, because
yeah,
as you can see, like, this is a big chunk that's taken directly out of the middle,
exactly.
which indicates to me that there could be like a vein of something that they were going for specifically inside of this rock formation, because it is sedimentary.
Excellent point.
Over time.
Excellent point. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know flint is silicon dioxide also. It's like a cryptocrystalline form of quartz, which makes it really interesting, right? Because I know, right, because granite has, and like the quartzite, and right. I mean, I know I've heard about piezoelectric energy, and right, hitting
Yes.
the stone, and maybe it creates energy. Who knows? It really, just the fact that
Hey,
it's like,
Ricardo's the man for that.
Oh, really? Oh, for piezoelectric
Yeah,
energy. Barbara Hughes, that's
yeah,
great.
Ricardo's the man for that.
Yeah, I'm not aware of the properties of that particular area or the conductivity of flint, because I never look into it. It doesn't appear in European or history of that. But I will look into it, because it's obvious they took this piece. I think that Headless here is correct. There is something that they wanted to take on his. Probably even, you remember that ball that you showed, that video with your large ball? They could have a massive block of flint here that they wanted to use for something, and so they quarried it because they knew it was inside.
I agree with that. I think earlier when you pan out and you look at some of those drone shots, they were quarrying this straight out of a mountain range. So there's going to be a vein of whatever this substance was in that mountain range, more than likely.
Yeah. Because in terms of geology, I would really like to say that I know how is the piezoelectric conductivity of this mineral, but I really don't. But I will soon. Now I will. Because I never look at this quarry as something that was used in terms of any functionalities in that respect, by using the telluric energies, the natural piezoelectricity, and the excitement of the crystal matrix inside the rock. I never thought about it on this quarry. But it's interesting, because the piezoelectric is very simple. The fact the stone is huge is enough. Now, I don't know if this area, you might know, is this area has any fault lines, underground waterways? Does it have anything of that? Any river close to this?
Yes, it's by a pretty large river. It's near a river.
But no fault lines in this area?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Mark, if you ever get a chance, go out there and look up the formula for the Helmholtz resonance.
Exactly.
You can actually measure the Helmholtz resonance of all these different chambers that they've blocked out, and you can tell which type of note that it would resonate at, and you can actually calculate these things, because who knows, they might have been using these for resonators. They look pretty solidly constructed. I mean, I don't know if you're going to compare this to Tenet long barrel or short barrel, you're probably not going to get the same kind of a thing. But if they're going for the basics, you just take out chunks and you make it, resonate in those ways. So could be something having to do with resonance as well.
Well, we've seen several of these sacred places that were not polished, and if you look at this, is this different from a studio that is programmed to concentrate the sound or absorb or don't let it out, or it's the same roughness, kind of, that sponge that you apply to the walls? to emulate the sound, and here could be making something completely different. I don't know. You could put someone in these niches and drumming, and you'll create this a better effect that you are on the open for sure. But it's very hard to tell. It's almost impossible to determine in these cases because there's nothing to be read, and the Chinese are not very good at translating their history. They don't hide it, but they don't translate it. So it's hard for Occidentals to read it.
This site does remind me a bit of Napa Iglesia in Peru, which is also in a mountain range, and it has some of the same strange cut. Looks like they cut windows or portholes into the blocks. That site has this too. Just throwing it in there.
Yeah. Sorry, what's the name? Iglesia something?
Yeah, Naupa. Iglesia with an I.
Okay.
And
Napa
it's a
Iglesia.
sacred site, very mystical, up in a cave in a mountain, has very similar those. I'm just going to call them windows because they kind of look like they cut windows into these rocks. It's very similar to this.
Yeah, it instead of false doors, that's a common feature. It's false windows. We can call it like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Peru is lousy with them. They've got all sorts of false doors, all sorts of false windows
Everywhere.
Something I did want to mention real quick, Ricardo. This could be wrong. I looked up stuff. This according to ChatGPT. So I asked it about flint and electricity and piezoelectricity. It actually says its resistivity is so high that for everyday purposes it does not conduct electricity, and it does go into explaining why. But maybe because of its resistance, that could still be important. I don't know.
You know,
because of the way they're separated, that there isn't stuff in between.
Yeah, but you'll find that as a first answer to almost everything that you ask him. You have to ask him specifically if you can use flint as a highly conductive material so you can transform polarity, because otherwise, even at crystal, he will answer that is highly resistant to electricity, and yet is one of the best conductors.
I noticed that in using ChatGPT, if I said a broad question, it said no, essentially, to your point. And then if I said, well, did you read this study?
Yeah.
Now
I'm sorry.
Now would you answer it further in particular? Oh, yeah, this is totally possible and highly likely. And here's the chemical analysis. I would just to back up your point of the difficulty of learning Chinese history, even without the language barrier, the time and space involved is so vast. The language changes. Sorry?
Well, I was just going to say that nub on top is very interesting. It's right above that crevice, and it's very intentionally cut out there. That's crazy. But go ahead.
Yeah, it's like angled vertically.
Yeah, no, I was just saying the length and breadth of Chinese history makes it very difficult and murky.
The resonant, the frequency thing is very interesting to me. I mean, I'm thinking about jade. We know these cultures revered jade, and I've seen studies done on jade, and apparently it has a resonance frequency. And you can go way, way down the rabbit hole with this, like the uses for jade in the ancient world. Who knows what they were doing with it? But I've even seen it on the table as a possible possible use in like flight, in like ancient flying devices. Like I say, you can get kind of crazy with some of these theories, but jade has the resonance frequency.
All of the crystals have. That's why you can put them on your clock and it works, because it's always resonating the same way. They are known for being very precise, and that's how clocks can count time.
They use.
Go on.
They use that in watches. That type of material you're just talking about.
Exactly, because they maintain the exact same modulation in their frequency, and so the time is kept correct.
I
Now,
think that's
when
the
you-
most accurate way they keep time, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's when you look at this, and although we discussed this before here, that there is no signs that is anything else than an industrial complex, and then you notice that they leave those kind of benches in the middle and like a ceremonial table there. Look, that looks like a bench. Why was that block left there? Was not needed, or there were some aesthetical purposes? It's very strange.
I think it could go back to that nub again, because that nub could be the central location of where you're trying to achieve the resonance. So all of these areas, that's going to reflect the sound, and you add those benches, or you leave the benches there, because that's going to distort and create a different resonance frequency. And then right across from it, hanging down, you could have some sort of collector for this resonant energy.
Sure, you can even lay down on that huge block that is to the right now, in the middle. Yeah, that block there. If you lay down on top and some frequency is introduced, the resonance might have some effects because you're receiving it straight from the stone. And even in native, there is this kind of structure. I was informed by James McAvally, that is the top expert in Pilot Mountain, that Nick, luckier than I am, spent with some time with him. And do you see that where you take those pictures that there is a slab of rock slightly inclined?
Oh yeah, it looks like a chair or something. Yeah.
Yeah, where they're chanting there, and the fellow lay down on that slab of stone.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so that's there is some myth, as Yona was saying, I think, about they chanting there and creating sound there, and someone lay down on the slab and have these experiences or healing, or might be the same thing here.
Now, I've got a question. Was all of the areas that are in between those two rock faces, was that all rock at some point?
Yeah, that's what we are told. Everything was covered. That bluff would go way to the end of all of this carving.
Right.
This is what was left behind. You see, and see, this extraction of material is highly ineffective, very difficult to do. Instead of just take the block of stone piece by piece. So it is intentional. It's as intentional as the nubs. So, but what was the functionality? Well, that's what we don't know.
It looks like somebody came in after this was done and was breaking off pieces of stone for something else, for like local use.
When did you say
that was
correct?
my next question? Is any of that material found locally, since there's cities around it? That's what my next question was.
Well, I guess the steles, the large pillars, right? The large rectangular pillars that they like engrave information in. You can find them around the city. You find them all throughout China, and especially there's in Nanjing. There's definitely pillars. There was like a massacre in Nanjing, I think about 50 to 100 years ago. Pardon my ignorance on the wrong date. And they have these pillars with like engravings of so they use the flint for the steles and stuff in the area. But yeah, I mean, it could be quarried at many different times, potentially. I don't know, but yeah, this piece does seem intentionally carved for sure, with purpose. And so it's a huge effort to do that.
Something I wanted to ask you again. I'm sorry. I know we talked about it earlier. When was this supposedly built again? That you were saying?
The sign says, what was it? 1360 to 1424.
Yeah, I did find something that they said some of the chisel marks seems to match stuff not too far off in the area from around 1400 to 1500. So, like, I guess those markings on there might actually be considered chisel marks. Some of the things that we were looking at earlier, that's what made me look it up. But I guess it matches the time. I was just wondering if it was different.
I didn't understand. You said chisel marks.
There was like it looked
14,
like there was chisel marks or something that was on the place. It looked like, to me it looked like carvings, possibly to like try to make something look a certain way, or just look chiseled. And I was trying to like look up the date of the place, and it ended up coming up saying that around 1500s. Is that it matches other stuff not too far away, going by the chiseling design it's done.
Interesting. I did not know
So
that.
that's why I was just asking. It's around the same time. I just was wondering if maybe that was older or newer. I mean, it's like 100 years off, so I mean, the same shit.
Yeah.
It looks like you could climb up in those windows and lay in there on that inner slab if you were looking to this as a healing location. I've seen some of these, like there's one in Girona. There's a big stone out there in Spain where people go and they lay on the stone. They say they can feel the stone vibrating, and it's supposed to heal your ailments.
That's how it was at Pilot Mountain when I took my shoes and my boots off, man, or my socks and my boots off, man. I
You
put
can
them
feel it?
on the ground. Yeah, I felt it, man. It
Nice.
definitely felt a different way, bro. I ain't never had that
Yeah.
type of feeling ever. And I walk outside, in barefoot a lot of times too. Some in the front yard and stuff like that. And man, I ain't never felt nothing like that.
Yeah. I've been up there to Pilot Mountain too. I want to go back and take my shoes off next time though, man. I mean, but there was a feeling about that place. And I mean, even now, like even modern day, like in where I live, in the city where I live here, there's like a marble circle, like a little courtyard, and they've got a vibrating stone in the middle of it. So you can go up and touch the stone and you can feel it vibrating. So there's something to all this, that's still tangible today.
Right.
Oh,
I was going to ask about the culture in the nearby town. Do they still have like a tradition of TCM practices and more naturalistic healing? Because that could be a result of a long forgotten culture that valued this kind of stuff.
Sorry, what's TCM practices? What is that?
Traditional Chinese medicine.
Traditional Chinese medicine. I understand. Perhaps I'm not knowledgeable in that, to be honest.
Well, I can say that my daughter just came from China and from Beijing, and that's very much active there.
Yes.
Very active.
Yes.
You won't.
It is founded on music and vibration and sound. That is actually the first form of healing in the TCM philosophy. And bone tapping, I've mentioned this before, is like primal Tai Chi. And it's all about getting a vibration going in our body that is not an extreme exertion, but is just enough to tonify the I forget the term right now. Every organ system is encapsulated in its own sheath, right? And when this happens, you get a hernia, right? A herniation is one of these having a problem and opening up. And so vibration tonifies all these systems that are each on their own at the same vibration, but it tonifies them being held together more properly. So that's might be a little weird for people, but the whole system of TCM really starts off not with herbal, not necessarily with movement, but even sound.
Oh, I got you, Ethan. Tell them what feng shui means. Wind and water. So the whole idea in feng shui, when they're talking about these energy points, came from the burial practices of the ancient Chinese. And the idea was you wanted to have the perfect burial placement, having to do with the cardinal directions and the local geography. So the feng shui of those burial places was then carried over into how to construct a home, how to create a space for the optimal amount of energy in the living quarters. And so, a lot of this feng shui comes from might be places like this, because as you see, it's about the roughness or smoothness of the energy. And so depending on the surfaces you use in your house, it speeds up or slows down the energy as it travels over it. So having those nubs there starts to make a little bit more sense. The resonant frequency kind of makes more sense. When you combine the ideas of feng shui with this area, you can kind of start to map out exactly the type of energy that they were going for.
I know
I just want to say that
go ahead.
I just want to say that I like that comment about the stones being rubbed smooth by human hands and the oils. And I mean, maybe not this site, but there are other sites certainly where you can tell that people have been visiting them for centuries and millennia and touching them, and they rub the stones smooth. And I think that's a great indicator that you're at a sacred place.
If I may, since I have my AI trained to look into this with several papers and access, it says that flint is a form of microcrystalline quartz, and it shares some of the same physical properties as quartz, such as high elastic modality, so above 100 GPAs. Its rigidity allows it to sustain oscillations with minimal energy loss. So it has a quality of 99.7% of wet weight of crystal material. It has flint's microcrystalline structure, while finer than macrocrystalline quartz, should still exhibit low attenuation, making it capable of sustaining sound waves, potentially for archaeoacoustic properties.
Oh, nice.
In terms of piezoelectric effect, I have flint as a quartz variant likely exhibits piezoelectricity, though its fine-grained structure may modulate the effect compared to a single crystal quartz. This could allow flint to amplify vibrational energy in resonant chambers or when struck during rituals. Conductivity. Flint is generally a poor electrical conductor due to its high dielectric constant and isolation nature. That's the first thing that you got on your answer. The problem is what's come after. And after says, however, quartz-based technologies notes that quartz dielectrical properties support electromagnetic signal propagation in mineral matrices, as seen in telluric currents like Otogawa at 2001 and page 4, and flint microcrystalline structure may facilitate subtle electromagnetic conductivity, especially under stress. There is the piezoelectric effect. And when polished, flint surface could reduce resistance to surface currents, potentially enhancing its interaction with telluric or geomagnetic fields. So when polished, they achieve the higher effectiveness. And for finally saying that due to flint high stiffness of around 100 GPAs, it allows it to transmit, this is very important, seismic or vibrational signals efficiently with wave velocities of 5.7 kilometers per second in quartz-rich rocks, like the flint rocks, which means that it is barely the same as quartz achieves in crystalline matrices. So it's the same thing, basically. You can use for the same purposes.
Wow, that's amazing.
There's Lisa.
Oh, wow.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, how's it going? Sorry, I'm late.
I had the definition for feng shui pulled up. See if you can match up any of this stuff to that area. It says, sometimes called Chinese geomancy, it's a traditional form of geomancy that originated in ancient China and claims to use the energy forces to harmonize individuals with their surrounding environment. The term feng shui means literally wind water or fluid from ancient times. Landscapes and bodies of water were thought to direct the flow of universal qi, cosmic current, or energy through places and structures. More broadly, feng shui includes astronomical, astrological, architectural, cosmological, geographical, and topographical dimensions.
Exactly, because it can be included in what is studied by archaeoacoustics and archaeoastronomy, because they don't create just as water lines, as for instance you see in South America, this rock carves just so the water can flow. They are using it because we know today that flowing water, first of all, ionizes the air, so it makes it more pure, and that in its own is therapeutical. Second, we know that this, as you were reading, this underground waterways going through these monuments, and we find them everywhere, they enhance the vibrations of the Schumann resonance. And then by the place itself, vibration, it creates another layer of resonance within the structures that then is added by the third dimension. There is a trident of frequencies. There is the human interaction that can be a drum, can be I can't remember how it's called. It's a thing that's rotated on a string. I can't remember the name right now. A bull roarer, sorry. So these old instruments tend to be much more effective than you go in there and try to play a digital organ or something like that. So they were made for this kind of raw instruments and human voice.
Mark, if you could
So
get a
it's-
drum circle going over there and get that on video, that would be amazing.
Yeah, and you should record is what is the response of the stone. So is there an intense electromagnetic field being created? Is there information being stored? Because I didn't read that part, but flint as crystal has a highly degree of absorption of energy and information. So you can actually store information. Like when in this megalithic Europe, you're doing these ceremonies inside these structures, and the structure is absorbing that information. That's why they could speak to the ancestors, because when they recreate the ceremony, they could hear what was stored in the stone. You probably had to read better how I explain it in the Resonant Earth, and I can send the PDF to any of you if you want to. But these things have much more functionalities than what we said that they just to bury the dead. That just came after it. The technology was lost, and they look at it and said, "Yes, that's a place for the ancestors. Let's put the bones there." So, but that's not how the story started. They were purely functional structures.
And I guess you'd mentioned Helmholtz frequency. I guess headless.
Yes, it's
giant
created.
you're talking about.
Even the air, for instance, as Headless was saying it very well. If you go to there is a place, there is Orkney, I think, where if the wind comes from the right direction, and because the way it is structured in scales of 4/3 harmony in terms of music and in terms of sacred geometry, it creates this Humboldt effect that then can, by the wind itself, create what is called a standing wave. And it's when the standing wave is created that the miracle starts to happen. Whatever it is that you're trying to achieve, depending on the frequency that you introduce to the place or the functionalities that the place is built to have. And I can say that, for instance, this Viking king was going to a meeting, and because of this huge storm, he decided, let's go inside that burrow, let's go inside that megalithic site and save ourselves from the rain and the wind. And so they all got concentrated on the same chambers, but two of them decided to stay on the first chamber to the left, if I'm not mistaken. It so happened that because of the effects of that specific chamber and the concentration of the sound, because if you have 4 hertz and you have normal sound or uncompressed sound, the 4 hertz will feel you like bliss, like sensation of touching the divine, similar to what you get in a church or a cathedral that was built for that. But if you compress the 4 hertz, and that may happen with the standing waves as the wind constantly was blowing inside the place, it can turn into...
The temperature and the moisture can change the Helmholtz frequency too.
Yeah. So those two guys that went there were insane, because what happens if you compress 4 hertz we know it is from lab studies, is that you have loss of limb control, madness, visions, terror. You stop understanding what's going on. You start attacking your fellow mates. And these two went. We know this happens because they got late to the ceremony because of those two were insane. So they became insane on that night and never recovered. And so that delayed them to get to the meeting, and that's why this was written. Why that this happened, but it's just to say I might digress a little bit, but I was just expanding on what Headless said.
Well, the Helmholtz frequency happens when you blow over the top of a bottle.
Yeah.
The frequency that it resonates at is a given formula. So you can use that Helmholtz frequency anywhere based off of the dimensions of the object that you've got in your sights. And so it'll give you the resonant frequency, and you're going to have to play around with the resonator, but you can achieve that pretty much anywhere you go just by measuring the place. So, yeah, you get a bunch of drummers on each one of those tablets right there in the middle. You might get something happening. That'd be amazing.
For sure.
Well, you were wondering about those things that they were like, oh, maybe there's seats and stuff. I would wonder now if this stuff has anything to do with creating a specific sound, if that's there just to change the sound. Or to help create a different.
Yeah, because they were left in specific places, right? Yeah. You're right about that. And they are designed in a specific way.
It makes me think too, in terms of like medical applications with the TCM.
Yes.
A lot of those benches might be ways for not only a person to sit, but to put themselves in a posture that we might find kind of weird in the West, but they would be kind of having one leg upright, one leg down, or with the arms, different positionings that might be related to some medical qigong theory they might have had.
Yeah.
And it might be in a 50-year span, they might have used it for this over the great length of Chinese history. So now we're left wondering what it's for. Just a thought. It's certainly not a certainty.
No, but you're right, because you see this. It looks like a. If you imagine a megalithic hospital of benches, that's why it looks for different positions, right? Because there are several of them in different shapes under the same structure. So I think you might be on something there. Yeah. I just imagine someone playing some traditional instrument in here, probably one at each side or one in the middle, and creating that effect.
Sounds like a great therapeutic treatment.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Which brings
and
up
in the rain, I could imagine in the rain that those dry spaces would just be really magical, kind of just with rain.
Oh yeah. It brings up those caves. So there's a series of carved out caves that look like rough-hewn sort of versions of maybe not similar to this, but a little bit different. It's got all these carvings pulled out of the wall, and it looks like it was done with the machine. Do you know which cave I'm talking about? I know it's in China. I'm not sure where.
In China, yeah, I think it's Longyu Caves, maybe, probably.
Yeah.
We actually have footage of that, actually. I also have a 2-hour walkthrough gimbal video of that we're going to see today, actually. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, Longyu Caves. Michael Collins was the first one to really put it on the map and show everyone, right? Wandering Wolf, and yeah. But I guess Longyu is made of sandstone, which is is much softer, right, than this. But I mean, when I came here, I mean, Wikipedia says the ancient quarry is made of limestone. I thought it was going to be limestone. I thought it was going to be like just like sedimentary, nothing like this. And then when I saw it was flint, it was like, wow, this is amazing. It opens a whole lot of opportunities in terms of research and theories and.
Yeah, you find limestone used for acoustic properties as caves, as Headless was saying, and you find them in Malta, like in Al-Saflieni, the ancient Tarxian temples, and few more places. But it's because the limestone is highly reflective. And so they only have to carve in order to create the frequency that they want. It's different from this case here, where it's if it has some work, it's also energetic and not only of sound. Because we are talking about conductivity here, and if you go and speak about Al-Saflieni, for instance, or the Tarxian temples, where Tim, you're talking about feeling the stone vibrating. So in the Tarxian temples that are 666 feet away from the Al-Saflieni, so all the area is full of faults, all the area is full of underground waterways. You have the river there, and there is no ceiling on the Tarxian temples. So the sound, the naturally generated sound, just disappears because there is no ceiling to keep the sound in the structure. But you have these orthostats, these huge stones making a corridor that leads you to the final semicircle room. And they have these dimples, right? Imagine some dimples carved in these huge slabs of stone. And just for fun, the archaeologists decided, let's put my hand close to the dimple. Let's see what is the size of the dimple. And when he's putting his fist toward the dimple in the stone, he felt the same thing that we feel if we put our hand in the subwoofer at our stereo, right? So it's still pumping the sound. It's still active, just it doesn't have the ceiling to produce the effects that it was done to do. So you were crossing this corridor, and by the end of the corridor, your brain is already synced to the frequency that is being given you for both sides from these stones, and they are syncing your whole body. So when you reach to the final room, you're already in sync with the site. And we know this is possible because several archaeoacoustic studies show that this actually happens. So you see people actually fusing with the stone in terms of frequency. So the sensors cease to capture the people because they tune into the site and they disappear from the image. They transform themselves into the stone.
Mark, you might know more about this than I do, but other places in China, they've found remnants of items that seem to be something to do with ancient technology, like the bead discs, the little discs. And then there's another artifact that I saw that had a very intricately carved face on it. And if you look closer at the face, it appears to be a man riding a beast.
I'm not aware of the specifics. I don't know that piece. I know there are some jade igneous rock bowls, some jade vases in China. I know what's her name? There's a Zhu. Pardon me. I think her name is Zhu on X. Anyways,
you talking about V? You talking about V?
V. Yeah, sorry. My
I did.
V.
I did a podcast with her about Shane.
Yeah, you did.
She's excellent. He is excellent.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've got the
V Duo.
V Duo, exactly.
I think you know more about the jade artifacts than I do Rebirth, to be honest.
They're B discs or bi discs, BI.
I know them as dropper discs.
Yeah, they're also known as dropper disc. Yeah.
Okay, but aren't those? They appear to be constructed in mysterious ways. Like it's almost too intricate to be done by chisels and stuff, right?
The problem with the dropper discs, and I did a paper recently about them. The problem with the dropper discs is that although they were photographed as they were being presented in the museum, there's nothing else. So they just disappear. They were considered forgeries, not worthy of being an exposition. That's the official explanation. But what is interesting is if you follow the history and go and look for the dropper people, that's why they're called the dropper discs, and you go look for them, there are still those I'm going to call it tribes, living on the mountains under that name where those stones were found, those discs. The problem is they don't resemble anything like what the tale tells us about the Dropper people. The similarities are not there. The physiology is different. So there is very little to be taken into to validate the Dropper discs, because we don't have we know that the inscriptions on the disc were minimal. There are some people that say that if they were played in some kind of instrument like a record player, an old vinyl record player, that they would have a message in there, but we never. It's something we'll never know.
Yeah, well,
they disappeared.
So there's also these. We might be talking about two different types of Chinese discs. There's another one from the Langzhou culture. I may be mispronouncing that. They were Neolithic period, and they were around like 3000 BC, and they had these discs called the Bai discs. And I don't think they're contested as frauds, but
I might be mistaken what I was saying. Let me see. Bai discs. Let me look at.
We might just be talking about two different types of
discs.
discs.
Probably.
I think we are.
You know what? If you guys don't
I think y'all are, because the way y'all explained them differently. Yeah, I think y'all are.
I'm gonna switch over to I see Mark's got some underground caves going on here, so I might switch over.
Excellent.
Just to switch things. Yeah.
I think the Tridactyl guy was talking about the Bai discs. He was talking about dragon eggs, and so he mentioned how the dragon eggs could have something to do with the Tridactyl mummies that they have in Peru.
So what's up with this place, Mark?
Yeah, this is, I guess, the beginning of Longyu Caves. So this is the first cave. There's 5 that have been drained. I guess they were discovered in the early 90s by some farmers in the region, and I guess they were catching like pretty large fish in these caves, and they thought like, how deep is this cave? And in the early 90s, they decided to, I guess, explore some of these caves, and they've drained 5. Apparently there's over 20, but I was only able to find 5 drained and 9 undrained. So I don't know if there's more that I wasn't able to find walking around. But so this is just, I guess, that center pillar is actually concrete, but the wall is original. So that's a concrete remake. That's the humans trying to, like, I guess, build pillars for safety, and they tried to mimic the ancient toolworks. And I wanted to emphasize this because if you go there, it took me a while to identify the difference between fake concrete and the ancient carvings. So I just wanted to really emphasize. I think at this point I might not have known the difference, to be absolutely honest. Walking in, it's a 2-hour video. I think maybe 15 minutes in, I start to identify the difference, right? So this is like the ancient tool marks, which looks really different from Yangshan quarry, right? This is sandstone, right? Much softer type of stone. And you can see the tool marks are like really parallel, right? And I mean,
methodic work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Wasn't
it was
there
done
some
by
sections at the other site that had these kind of formations?
That's right. I thought there was parts where it did look like it was chiseled on that other place.
Yeah.
I think it was at the beginning though.
this. I mean, I don't. If it was hand chiseled, it would take like a lot of.
But it's just I'm saying it looks like, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, saying if it was hand chiseled, it would be like a lot of effort to make it like all parallel and everything. Like in this case, I can see a type of rotary machine, like even like a bicycle, right? The first photos of the AI that I showed, maybe it was some sort of rotating foot powered. I'm not saying like advanced technology. It could just be something like pretty basic, right? Because I mean, I made a video of the sandstone. Like I have some of like the sandstone here, and I was able to cut through it with a knife in like seconds, right? And if you're able to cut through this in seconds, I can totally see how someone maybe had like some sort of foot power thing. This is concrete. That's a concrete pillar. But yeah, I mean, I can totally see. I mean, just the amount of effort that it would take to make all the tool marks parallel, it just seems really inefficient. I don't think they were doing it for art. I think it was more just like a consequence of the creation technique. You know what I mean? You can you can skip quite a bit. The first cave is kind of small. The other caves are a little larger if you wanted to. The
There was
footage
a
is
spot
a
where
little
I was
better.
wondering, sorry, there was a spot where I was wondering. It looked like maybe the holes are being done on purpose. I couldn't tell. Like I thought maybe they actually might have been like points within the thing.
I don't know.
If I can interject, that column looks like a bamboo. The way the bamboo grows, their stalks. They have that segmented. And I wonder if the striations themselves are just adding to the stability of the concrete. I'm not familiar with bamboo tissue, like microscopically or molecularly, but I'm almost wondering if maybe that is a mimicry of bamboo itself.
Maybe. Perhaps. You mean the tool work, the natural tool marks also on the sandstone?
The striations, if it maybe contributes to the strength of the concrete itself, but if it's trying to mimic how bamboo structurally exists naturally in its a live form.
Perhaps. I don't know. I'll be honest.
You know what it reminds me of? I know it's definitely not, but like if anybody's ever like used, I guess, like machines where like excavating, or if you're like scraping the ground, when you drop the bucket and you drag the teeth on the ground, that's exactly what it looks like. But I'm sure that's not what was going on.
You know, and the thing is that when you create undulations like that, you're increasing surface area. So that's like kind of like why the gut has undulations, like your small intestine, your large intestine. It has like that because it increases surface area. So I wonder if they were trying to maximize surface area for a particular purpose.
Yeah, that's interesting. For sound or resonance frequency, like I guess Headless Giant was talking about, and Ricardo.
Yeah,
I
like
never
when
thought
you
about that. That's really
are in a studio, you know, the walls that they use, they don't just use absorbent material that's flat. They use it kind of like with a pattern or like a structure or grit, and it
like the cartons work well.
Yeah, surface area. Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I'm writing that down. Never thought about that. Because I mean, the sound is really nice in there. It sounds really, really serene. It's really, you feel really good being inside, and I don't know.
Just a suggestion: when you go to these places, install a guitar tuner in your phone, so you can see if you can detect what is the frequency of the site, what is the note it is producing.
Okay, and
I gotta get a guitar.
You said it was called. You said.
This was a suggestion from the Abbess that I never forgot on that show.
Flint was on the outside. Is it the same stuff inside you were saying, or no? You probably said it and I forgot. I apologize.
Of these caves?
Yeah, do you know what's inside that at all, or is it the same material?
So, well, this footage right here, this is also concrete. This is a concrete pillar that they created recently. This is not ancient. This pillar right here, and this location is actually maybe 300, 400 miles south from Yangshan Quarry. So this whole area is sandstone. It's not a flint area specifically here. Yeah, I guess going back to that first map that we showed, it was like 500 miles south. So.
And is there any text, any brochure explaining why this was done there?
The mimicking or why the caves were made?
Yes.
I did not get. I mean, there probably is. I'm sure they have an explanation. I'll be honest. I did not read into their specific explanation, like explaining why or how it was done. I don't know. I don't know that information. I'm sure it exists, but I don't know. I don't know I don't know if the official narrative is.
I heard giants. It was giants that carved these for some reason.
Oh, fucking
Maybe.
giants.
I mean, perhaps.
What kind of gimbal are you using, if you don't mind me asking?
Me, I'm using a DJI OM5. OM5.
Oh, okay.
It's very good. I highly
Yeah,
recommend.
yeah, I have one of their gimbals. This shit's off the hook.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I think I paid $140 for this a few years ago.
Oh yeah, and that
Mhm.
shit will like follow you, and like you'll even do it like its own like master shots too. In this sense, it's fucking weird.
Yeah, it's amazing. So yeah,
I want to look up this place. See what they're saying.
So it says this was found. These caves were discovered by accident in 1992 when local farmers drained several ponds, revealing 5 large man-made caverns and 19 smaller caverns, or smaller caves, rather. The 5 caverns, independent from each other, measure between 18 to 34 meters, reaching heights of up to 20 meters with supporting pillars and distinctive shapes, remarkably curved, with shaking imprints across the cavern walls and ceilings.
So they're not enough to harbor a small population.
I'm looking at a picture here that looks
Is
like
it-
you could fit some people in there. You could fit some people in there, yeah.
Because it was when I'm look at this, it looks like it was done in a rush. So
Well,
they
I-
had a method, it worked, and they kept at it from beginning to end. Like
all those scratch marks are uniform. They're very intentional, each and every one of them.
yeah.
So it doesn't look like they were doing it by hand, because that would have to be some sort of a machine moving in the same direction at the same time as all the other scratch marks, or else it would
Well,
be out of
if
order and
you
there's
go
chaos.
I live in close to an area, because everything is close. This is Portugal, where they extract a lot of stone, and it's even the one that is done by hand. You see exactly what you see there, not straight down, but slightly to the side. The what is it called, the iron that you use to hammer it, the
Chisel.
the chisel. Sorry, thank you. So you see that they can make over and over again the same marks on the stone. Even break the stone completely flat by hand. So it is possible in real time. What I see here striking is the length of the chisel, and the fact that they go from a very large distance from top to bottom with the same mark. And that is strange, because you can't do it because you have the ceiling, and you can't do it from the top unless
Where did
then
all
you
the
go back.
material go?
Yeah, where again? Yeah, great question.
Well, look at that shit right there.
Yeah, that this is concrete, right?
That's a concrete modern. Yeah. It took me like maybe 15-20 minutes in there. I think even at this point I might have thought this was original, but then realized, oh no, it's concrete.
I was just trying to relate this to Turkey, to Cappadocia, to Dinkiru, to 15,000 underground cities.
Yeah,
but I don't know how big this is.
Well, there some of the pictures I'm seeing of the room as a whole, it does kind of resemble a temple or something that you might see in one of the old sites in Turkey.
It almost has, the lines kind of remind me, excuse me, of sun rays in that sense. And it makes me wonder what the angle is, if that through that angle they were trying to say something. I don't know. Sometimes I've seen the different angles in different megalithic.
Calculate the date that they want it to be used.
It could be something.
So it says here that the caverns are aligned along a south to southwest orientation, maximizing the use of sunlight to illuminate the interior.
Oh.
So
I also saw that it's with 24. There's 24 caves which mirror the 24 solar terms of the traditional calendar. So it's like an underground cosmic almanac. Also,
nice.
Mark, I have a quick question. At the base of these walls and at the base of these pillars, was there a crack into the floor? And the reason I ask is that would they potentially account for potential water falling against the wall? And if it did, it wouldn't splash all over the floor, but it would create a channel for the water to filter down and then leave gaps between the wall and the floor. Water could drain out that way. I don't know. It's just because I think like, for instance, when you do concrete and you create grooves, you're kind of like, you're doing it for structural support. You're also doing it for safety reasons, but you're also doing it to kind of guide wear and tear, whatever, on concrete. But then if you do it on a wall, you're also trying to guide water down.
Okay, so Lisa, it says here, upon further study, it was found that each complete cavern has only one portal associated with a vertical shaft with a carved stairwell that allows rainfall and surface runoff to enter the caverns. To manage the water intake, a system of drainage troughs, some drainage channels, and a water trap was carved into the cavern base to collect the water.
Bingo. There you go. All right. Well, I'm not saying that's why it is, but it reminded me of all that.
Yeah, this shit did make me think of like tires before, and like that shit on the tires are like also a way of pushing water out as you're driving over it. I did think that. I was like, oh, that shit looks like grooves on tires, the way they would go against each other.
That's massive.
Huge.
So those columns wouldn't be there, right? No columns.
No, those are real. Those are original.
Those are
columns,
real.
those
Okay.
ones.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
those are ancient.
What, they got a rave going on over there?
Man, that looks pretty
They got
cool.
what,
Those
sir?
columns, though.
Oh,
Look
yeah,
how
looks
they
like they got a
go.
rave. Yeah.
The
Dude,
sound
you
must
hit
be amazing in this place.
Oh, raves. Yeah, a rave in there would be insane.
Yeah, I bet the acoustics are off the hook in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It goes to speak how lengthy Chinese history is, because this was a pond, right? I mean, this was built, used, and then found later as underneath a pond. Like, that's just,
Exactly.
It's a pond
Yeah.
that creates enormous fish. That's also something to keep in mind. So back to
Mhm.
the qualities of the caves.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it
so I mean,
says so there was some clay pots and stuff that were found in here that dated to the Western Han Dynasty from 206 BC to AD 23, which suggests the caves were constructed earlier and date from around 2,000 years ago.
Now,
No, that doesn't mean anything.
Does that match up
Yeah,
time wise with
perhaps.
the quarry?
Yo, Ricardo,
I-
you should look up the cymatics tests on this place. There has been, and sorry to interrupt, and I don't understand what the fuck I'm reading, so maybe if you look at it, you'll get an idea.
Cymatics?
Yeah, I ran it through. I just asked, ChatGPT, and it spit out there were cymatic tests on there, but I don't know what the fuck I'm reading. You would probably know.
Cymatics is the effect of sound on basins of water.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, if you want to look at it and read
Yeah, I
it.
will. Thank you.
Yeah, you can explain it. I would fuck it up. Just wanted to insert that real quick. Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted.
Well, you know how the dating goes.
Hey, is there any pictographic script in there? Like any pictures, like anything that might tell a story or some kind of writing system?
I did not see any. They added recent carvings on the walls, like recent dragon carvings, but those are recent. But I mean, in terms of writing, I didn't see any. I don't know if there is any. I'm clearly not an expert in the knowledge of the site, but I didn't see any, and there wasn't any information.
There are various angular changes, and again, I'm totally speculating of my own hypothesis. It very much might be communicating something with these different intersections of angles. To your point, who knows what that might have been, but lines and threads. These definitely were used to communicate. Not that this one was, but other times, places.
Oh yeah.
What's the
Angles
name
and
of the caves
sigils.
again? Sorry.
Long U,
Okay.
Longyoou. Yeah. Long U.
That's interesting.
A long U.
In Longyu, China. I don't know. I don't know what that is.
That's
They got
interesting.
wiring in there? Oh, that is concrete.
I guess so. I don't know. Nick, could you maybe fast forward to maybe an hour and 35 minutes in this video, if that's okay? Just because it'll show the size of the room. I know there's a lot of questions. Like an hour 34 minutes would be like perfect.
I got you.
134.
This guy knows the exact minute.
Yeah, like yeah, you see that the thumbnail there.
I am. Oof.
Yeah.
Oh,
So like yeah, some of these caves are pretty big. Yeah, and these are modern. This is modern carvings. Like I think I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. I didn't. Yeah. So you can see it's pretty big place. Yeah, it was really nice.
Awesome. It's fucking huge.
Really nice place to be. Really, there's a lot of echo. It echoes a lot. There's like a cricket in there, and you can hear it just like you hear it echoing, and really serene. So yeah, this shows the size, and this is kind of one of the biggest caves there. I think the actual largest one hasn't been drained yet, which is pretty insane. I think it's been explored but not drained, which is wild, right? Just like at the frontier of discovery. And I think there's probably, I'm guessing there might be more of these caves out there, right? I mean, if it was found in the 90s and the whole, maybe, I don't know, again, I'm not a geologist, but there's a lot of sandstone along the river there, and I wouldn't doubt that there are other caves to be discovered.
Is that a flower on that pillar, on that wall?
I think it's a dragon. I think
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be a dragon, like wrapping around the pillar and going down into the earth. But again,
I see the dragon head now. Okay, I was not seeing it. Okay.
Mark,
yeah, so I think it's.
But you said this was man-made completely, 100%.
I don't know. I would call it human-made. I would conclude that just because there's no. I don't have any evidence to conclude otherwise. Sorry.
How far down from the let's say sea level does it exist?
From the top, yeah, maybe I think it was 80 feet down. I don't know if it's like 80 feet diagonal or.
The reason I say this is because we have in Texas caverns, natural bridge caverns, and they go about that deep down. And if you look at them, they have these pillars that come, up from the bottom and go up to the surface, and they form, by dripping limestone water or whatever. But it almost is like you wonder if they found this underground cavern back in the day, and they carved it to manipulate it, to their own. And so you almost wonder if maybe it was already there and they just kind of human manipulated it. And the carvings themselves is just them trying to mold the limestone itself in the natural underground cavern. I don't know, just a thought, because it seems very. If you see any pictures of the Texas bridge caverns, it somewhat looks like this a little bit. Just this is.
You have a point there, Lisa. You'd think being underwater for that long, or maybe having some kind of water interaction where you could get, bubbles and stuff inside there, you'd have stalactites forming because that's what the precipitation would do. But I don't see any stalactites at all.
And if it was covered in water, you would have had significant wear on this. But with underground caverns, they're highly exposed to water all the time, and they do not wear. If anything, it almost reinforces their structure. So
when I was walking around outside of these caves, right, you can see the undrained ones. There are what looks like natural entrances into the ground, and sometimes I'd be looking. I'm like, is that human made? Is that natural? Okay, this one looks natural. I don't think it's a human made one, because I was trying to find all 19 caves that I guess Tim had read that exist, and I can only find 9 plus these 5. So I mean, I
Well,
kind of scoured the area pretty significantly. But yeah, I
I would
think
say
may have
I would
used-
say that they didn't carve the whole cave. That they found the cave and just align the walls or create the symmetries. And I wouldn't say that they carved
Yeah,
all of this.
Yeah, I agree.
well, yeah, maybe, but the pillars are also kind of interesting, right? Because the pillars are all natural. So
Yeah, but the
Were the
pillars can
caves
happen naturally. You can find those pillars in caves.
Yeah, the
of
stalactites,
sandstone.
Atlas was saying.
No, not of sandstone. It would be a different form because sandstone
Yeah.
doesn't really have the same qualities as limestone, which is where you normally find the caves.
Yeah, I don't know. That I don't know.
One thing is for sure that they were the different cultures of China, per se, really would be more accurate, that they were always into building into caves. And still today, right now, there's 30 to 40 million people that live in caves in China today, despite the modernity. So,
I'd take a cave.
yeah.
Sure.
No,
And in Australia, you have these people that live underground. They dig underground and they live underground because the temperature is always constant. They don't suffer with the heat. It's the most efficient way for them to live instead of building on top of the land and suffer the intense heat and the sun. So they do dig and live underground.
Something's going on with these ridges. I mean, there's some sort of an intention behind this. That's what I'm thinking.
I think it could be a combination of mechanical and communicating something too variously, right? Because it does seem like a process, a result of a process, but variously, there's also different intersections with different angles that obviously is maybe not intentional, but resulting in something. Seems like it must be intentional to make the differences.
Yeah, but there is some kind of natural feel to it, because if even you look to the pillar, not this one, the one that he was filming before, the one to the left, it's not straight. They didn't bother to carve it absolutely straight, so it's curved on the top, and so there is some natural intent to this to don't make it completely artificial, I would say.
Yeah, I think I read a sign that the shape of the pillars were designed to help maximize structural strength for support. But
Yeah,
that's
that
what
curve is not, it's not maximizing that at all.
yeah, yeah, true. That is true.
Did you want me to? I know you have some other stuff I could show real quick before we wrap it up. Do you want me to show the pyramids? I saw that you do have some of the pyramids.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, I didn't realize
really
how much
digging
on that list.
Yeah, I sent a whole bunch, but this is great, man. This is wonderful. I'm really appreciating.
And very
the
few
conversation.
people. I'm astonished. So few people inside.
I try to get a Google Earth overview, like try to get straight views and some new pictures and stuff. They wouldn't even allow it. They don't even have any for that area.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, when you type in, what you said, the cave's location, it takes you on top of like a what looks like a little housing area.
Okay. Yeah. There's a Buddhist temple kind of on the caves, and there's like a green area right by the river and by the town of Longyu. But yeah, this is near Xi'an. This is maybe 50 kilometers, maybe 35 miles from the Terracotta Soldiers, right? And north of Xi'an, there are, I think, 40 to 50 pyramid-like structures along the north part of the river. And so this is a burial tomb, approximately 2,000 years old. Han Changling is the name of the Han Dynasty. Sorry, not Tang, the Han Dynasty. So it's about 2,000 years old. The emperor. I put all the information in the YouTube description. I can't remember. Emperor and his wife. These are the burial tombs, and you can see the forest around. So the terracotta soldiers, they were excavated beside the pyramid, right? They weren't excavated in the pyramid. The actual pyramid of Shi Qing Huang was not excavated. It was beside it. So I'm thinking under these trees there might be more terracotta soldiers. There might be more terracotta horses, and it could be anything, right? I mean, I'm not saying we should go dig it up, right? I'm not saying we should. I don't know. I don't really have a stance on whether we should excavate or not. I haven't really made up my mind. I'm not Chinese, also, but who knows what's under there? It could be anything. It could be possibly as great as
My
the
first
terracotta
question
soldiers.
seeing this photo, the video was, wait, why is there forestry, production right around this? Like, it seems awful suspicious, if you will. So yeah, I think you're on.
Yeah, and I'm surprised because the policy right now in China is to cover all of these pyramids with trees. They say is to preserve them. So, and I see that all of the pyramid seems to be already ready to be seeded. So if you probably return there in 2 years or something, you'll find it already covered with small trees, because they are doing it to all of them.
If you go back just a few seconds in the video, a little bit more. Right there. If you look at the trees, they mimic the slanted lines of the inside of the walls.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, like the rows of the trees actually makes.
They were intentionally grown and seeded that way. That's not natural.
No, I think it's definitely planted.
Yep. That was it.
Yeah, and definitely, and the height differences too shows they're planted at different times.
Do you think that even goes for like this stuff back here too? Or does that look kind of?
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was talking about. Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about.
I think it's planted.
No. The slanting on, yeah. The ones that are immediately surrounding the pyramid are straight, but the trees that are surrounding the strip are slanted, just like you see on the walls.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or the cave. I'm sorry.
We had Christmas tree patches in Appalachia where people would grow Christmas trees to sell. And some of these patches of trees here look like that. How you would plant, trees intentionally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think these are definitely planted. I don't know how long ago. There's photos of these specific pyramids that did have trees on them. I mean, this is March, so I mean, there are trees there that might be deciduous that just haven't created leaves yet.
Mark, do you know what type of tree it was, aside from deciduous?
It was, I think it was an acacia, which is it has like a spiny leguminosidea. It's
acacias are highly symbolic trees.
Yes, they are.
Yes. I think it's an acacia. It was a spiny legume which looked like an acacia bush, and that's tropical plant biology is my expertise, so I was able. I think it's an acacia or in that family.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's psychedelic. I don't know, but that would be crazy. That'd be interesting. Really thorny bush.
Acacias DMT. Acacias are known. Acacias was what forced the scientific community to finally admit that plants have feelings or thoughts too, because they were finding no explanation of why were so much kudus dead, right? And so when they started investigating this, and this was spreading, it was killing all the population of kudus that feed on the acacias, right? And so what was happening is, because there were a slightly overpopulation of these animals, and they could actually kill the acacia by eating all of the leaves, the acacias started to release a pheromone when was downwind, not always, and it sent it to the other tree. The other tree would receive it, and so as soon as the kudos get there, as soon as they start eating it, they die because they turn themselves into poisonous. They create these poisonous substances after receiving that information, and it was killing the kudos, and this was spreading all over the place. And that was how they were forced, with a small article, just a small article that I published regularly on X, where they were forced to admit that plants, after all, have a much more complex life than we thought they do. So acacia is involved in many things, including into religious things.
And Ricardo,
Hey, Ricardo, when you said that reminded me of that movie, The Happening. Remember that with Mark Wahlberg? Remember when all the plants was changing on people and killing them based on what was going on? Y'all remember that movie? Yeah. That's what. Hey, I gotta go back and watch that movie now.
Also, the
Ricardo,
Last of Us.
doesn't the acacia have the highest recorded level of DMT molecule?
That would be Aaron Voigt's territory, but I think you might be correct.
Again, I'm not sure if it's acacia. If someone goes there and says, "Oh, there's no acacias," I apologize for that.
We blame it on you.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, the acacias also they colonize disturbed open areas, so it's the ecology of it says it's highly possible.
I think they grow around mound sites too, so you get a lot of acacia around mound sites, pyramid sites probably as well.
Makes sense. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know if it's stone or just a mound. I mean, I've been to mounds in the United States. I've been to Miamisburg Mound in Ohio, and it doesn't look anything like this at all. It's just like a round, circular mound, right? It's definitely smaller, but it doesn't look like this is like trapezoidal shape. It's got I don't know if, as Ricardo said, if the lines are like they're seeding it or not. I don't know. Something is going on here. It's
What is the elevation on this, Mark?
Like the height of the pyramid, or the elevation of sea level? The height I can't estimate. That's me. I'm maybe 80 feet, maybe smaller. I'm sorry to.
So the surface of the mound or pyramid, does that have any kind of grass vegetation on it, or
a little bit? Yeah.
So it's interesting that nothing really has grown on it. Like it's like the soil itself does not allow for much vegetation. Doesn't support the growth of or sustain the growth of much vegetation.
True. Yeah. I mean, it does seem to be groomed, maybe, and managed. But you're right. The soil it seems very
barren.
Like well, the soil there it seemed really what's the word? Like eroded and leached. It was just it was like dusty, very dusty type of topsoil, right? So I mean, dusty. Yeah. There's a lot of dust in China just because the ground is so old and just all the erosion and the leachate, right? And so yeah, I mean,
Mark, is that a multi-reactor nuclear facility there?
I think it is right beside.
I'm pretty sure that those not only do they need flowing water and so on, but a nuclear power generation facility like that and anywhere. They need to be put in certain places where the energy is at a certain resonance, that it is stable. So not only is flowing water important, but there are considerations as to where do they put the power plant. Interesting that they're right there.
Wow,
very interesting.
Are you aware of Poverty Point Mound, Mark?
Me? Yeah. Poverty Point. I've heard of the name. Is that the one in St. Louis? No.
I think it's in Louisiana.
It's in Louisiana.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, that was Cahokia. Yeah. Sorry, my apologies.
It's the largest. Well, it was the largest pyramid in the United States. It was a massive structure. That it was a flat top pyramid, and they built that in front of a huge amphitheater-looking thing where everybody was living. And they still don't know how because it was supposedly hunter-gatherers. So Poverty Point's an interesting case study as well.
Well, on Fridays, the animals took the holiday, so they had the Fridays free, so they did it.
I mean, I would be interested to know if these have been excavated at all, because there might be a big layer of sediment on top of these, and there's no telling what they look like beneath that layer of sediment.
This place is supposed to be 32 meters high.
32 meters, so about 100 feet.
100 feet.
And the base length is 222 to 240 meters.
So it's not that high. It's not that high. To say, oh, nothing.
Oh no, I'm sorry. 150 to 165. I was looking at a different place. 150 to 165 meters. That's interesting.
Yeah. Well, Nick, you have to apologize me, but I really can't stay any longer. I do
Okay, no, that's fine. We're gonna wrap it up anyway. Ricardo, do you want to wait till we wrap it up a few more minutes?
Sure. So a few more minutes. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I was going to wrap it up now anyway. I think 2 hours was enough. Again, like Mark, I wish I would have realized that you had that much in there, but
no, this is perfect. This is great. It was amazing. Really, really amazing. I want to say, I mean, if I'm going back to China next week, we're going to be there planning. I have to sign a 2-year contract. So why I'm saying this is because clearly I'm not like I'm around. I've found a group of experts that really knows their stuff, and if they know of places for me to go and film and do the tests right with determine the Helmholtz frequency, which I'm going to Google after. Right, I have the guitar tuner app on my phone already.
You need a good compass. You need a multimeter. So you test the stone, and you need magnets, small magnets that you can carry with you.
Magnets. Okay. I mean, I'm
always bring a compass.
Yes, I'm going to Google this information. I mean, if you have like specific explanations how to do it, like like a method, I would totally accept that. And yeah, let me know places to film and go, because I'm going to be there. I want to be helpful. I want to contribute just what footage I can. So
sure. In order to find this type of energies, you must assume that it's not any day. So there are specific days where you find it's much stronger, and the days that you might not feel anything at all. So when you visit places that you know that you are going to want to test, choose days of full moon, or there are certain alignments with certain planets. You check the place for, always look for papers on archaeoastronomy on the site that you're visiting, and on archaeoacoustics of the site that you're visiting. Might not exist, but if there are, they will tell you what are the best days, because you know what's the alignments of the site to visit it.
You just got to learn how to use one of these, right?
Yes.
You ever see one of those before?
Oh, compass.
That's a feng shui compass, and it has all of the planetary alignments on it. So all you got to do is learn how to use that, and you'll be good to go.
Okay, excellent.
Heather, do you have a feng shui garden?
No, I don't.
Oh, I was thinking you might have. All right. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. All right. No, I was wondering if you did. All right. Yeah. All right. Sorry about that. Mark. You know what? I'll let everybody plug their show too, real quick. Ethan, just let everybody know where they can find your stuff.
Ethan Indigo Smith on all the usual suspects of social media. New articles on Occult Research Institute. One dropping soon. Appreciate all you guys. Mark, great pursuit of all this information of a really amazingly long culture. So thank you.
No, of course. Thank you. I appreciate you jumping on, man. Yeah, it was some interesting stuff for sure. Headless Giant, please let everybody know where they can find your work and remind them about the show, please.
You got it. You can find me on Twitter, Headless Giant, and on YouTube with the Headless Giant show every Thursday. If you've got any sort of paranormal experience that you've had, send it to me at the Headless Giant Podcast at gmail.com. Thank you.
And
Dowsing rods. Get some dowsing rods.
Those are harder to work with, but yes.
Dowsing rods? How do you spell that?
DOWSING. Dowsing rods.
It'll take some explaining at the airport, but don't worry.
That's going to be a fun rabbit hole for you. Definitely look up dowsing rods.
You better know what they like what you do with them in case they ask you. At least make it look like yourself what you're doing.
They love dowsing in China. They're all about it.
That's great. I should actually get a pair of those myself too. Tim, please let everybody know what's going
on. Thanks for having me. You can find me at Sixth Sensory Podcast, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, Instagram. This has been really enlightening. These have been great sites. So I'm always happy to be here and happy to do this. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, of course. Thank you. Oh, yo, those dowsing rods aren't too expensive either, are they, Headless? I just looked it up right now. I was like, oh, holy shit.
Dowsing rods and a pendulum, you're good to go.
Yeah, I was being serious. I was like, yo, why the fuck haven't I grabbed a pair of these? All right. Yeah, Ricardo, please. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. So first of all, Mark, it was a pleasure meeting you and being with all of the rest of the participants, as always. You can find me at Ricardo Calvary 1 at X, as you've seen on the screen the whole time. And do visit institutefornaturophilosophy.org. And that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And we got Tyrone. Please let everybody know where they can find your stuff and your book.
Thank you. Hey, Mark, that was a wonderful presentation, man. I was going and watching that video. I'm going to go back and watch it again and do some more research. I appreciate what you shared, but you can find me on most social media. Everything can be found on my website, rebirthoftheword.com. You can also find my book, Journey Through the Origins of History, through Amazon, which went seller. So thank you. Appreciate this, Nick, for letting me be on here with you guys.
Hell yeah. No, thank you, sir. And last but not least, Lisa, the Occult Reject Band scientist. What is going on? Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. And my cat says that he really enjoyed the show too. Mark, thank you so much for the presentation. That definitely opened a whole new set of things in my head to kind of go into. And I definitely want to just plug, because I don't know if you went through this, in that the actual granite itself can store data for billions of years. That's why it's being explored heavily by tech. So maybe look at that, and then the low frequency that it emits, low frequency, middle frequency, and stuff like that. But the rest of the rejects, thank you for having me. My apologies for my tardiness. And the only thing I like to plug is the occultresearchinstitute.org. Check us out there. And thank you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. And finally, guest for the last 2 hours. Mark, please let everybody know where they can find all your amazing work.
For sure. Thank you. I guess all that footage and more can be found on my YouTube, youtube.com/@Megalithic China, all one word. And you can find me on X, at Megalithic China. And I guess those are the main places to find me. And I'll be hopefully posting more videos in the next months and years to come about China. So let's do that. Tell me what to film, and I'll try to get out there for you. And let's
definitely send you some. Sure.
And a book with images. Let's produce a book with your images.
Wow, that's great idea.
Yeah, right. You could actually do that. Yeah, right. After a while, you could definitely do an image book of that stuff for sure.
Sounds good. Yeah, let's work towards that.
Yeah, for people who are interested, definitely go check out his YouTube. I mean, he has like over hour-long videos of like just drone and stuff or whatever. Definitely go check it out. He's got a lot more on there than I even showed on here. Thank you again, Mark, and thank all of you for making it. There was some other ones I couldn't, but it was worked out fine. It was great crew, a lot of awesome stuff, and I appreciate all of your time again. Thank you, everybody in the chat. That's what's up. There was a lot of people here from the beginning to the end. I really appreciate that. That's why I go live. And until the next one, everybody be well.